A significant element of DePaul's distinctiveness is its Vincentian heritage. Since its founding, the university has presented itself, governed itself, and regarded itself as a Catholic, Vincentian, and urban institution of higher education. But over the years, there have been a number of factors, both internal and external, that have influenced the emphasis placed on DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian identity. St. Vincent's College was founded in 1898 in a converted church building to serve young Catholic men from urban neighborhoods on the north side of Chicago. The Vincentian Congregation of the Mission had established St. Vincent Parish in that church building in 1875. And in 1897, Archbishop Peter A. Feehan asked the Vincentians, who were known for operating seminaries, to establish a college and boys' academy. And so St. Vincent's College was chartered. The first students were taught primarily by Vincentians, and governance was in the hands of a board of trustees made up of 5 Vincentian priests. But the educational purpose in the college's Articles of Incorporation was broadly stated, to develop and include courses in areas like classics, science, commerce, divinity, art, and mechanics. During those early years, the Catholic Church and local bishops had a strong influence over the development of the university and its identity. Governance was pretty centralized, however, with leadership directed by the president of the university, who was required to be Vincentian. And the Congregation of the Mission had the authority to assign Vincentians to leadership positions. So while the Vincentians had direct control over the character and identity of the college, there was still a more general Catholic emphasis in this earlier history. The college grew rapidly under the leadership of its first president, Father Peter Vincent Byrne, and it was rechartered as DePaul University in 1907. The new charter called for the university to be operated by a board of trustees that included 10 Vincentians and 5 laymen. And it also did not identify DePaul as specifically Catholic, but instead specified that religious faith would be no bar to admission, and professorship or honor would not be given simply because a person practiced the Catholic faith. The curriculum around this time was based on an elective model, and new and expanded programs were added. Co-education was introduced, and the School of Music, College of Law, and the College of Commerce were opened. During this period, the Catholic and Vincentian values that the university was founded on were still very apparent, but DePaul's urban identity took hold. It was partly as a way to help increase enrollments, which kept the university open, but it was also representative of an institution that was responding to its environment in Chicago and that was open and willing to change. Beginning in the 1920s, there was an eagerness to achieve external recognition and win accreditation from the NCA, the North Central Association of Schools and Colleges. The number of universities and programs offered was increasing across the U.S., and regional accreditation groups appeared as a way to measure institutional quality, and only students that graduated from an accredited institution were admitted to graduate and professional schools. DePaul's finances were an obstacle to gaining that accreditation, though. The university needed to hire more instructors in professional fields who were not Vincentians and raise salaries. And improvements to professional programs in commerce and law were needed, as well as library facilities. DePaul did eventually win accreditation in 1925, but holding on to it would also prove to be a challenge. In the 1930s, DePaul's leaders began placing a renewed emphasis on its Catholic and Vincentian heritage, and looking for ways to express that aspect of the institution's identity more clearly, in hopes that it would help the university stand out. In 1933, DePaul President Father Francis Corcoran gave an address to faculty that reinforced the university's Catholic and Vincentian values and included stated purposes and objectives taken directly from the university's 1907 charter. DePaul became a national leader in the field of religious studies during this period, increasing its BA requirements to include 8 hours of religious study. Father Corcoran also initiated a community outreach program, one of the first of its kind at the university, called the DePaul Art League, which was a citywide effort to promote the work of Catholic artists. But a pivotal external influence on the development of DePaul's identity was still the NCA. In 1949, DePaul was threatened with the loss of accreditation, and in 1950, accreditation was denied. Measures were taken to get it reestablished, and it did get restored the following year. But complying with the standards set by the NCA inevitably made DePaul more similar to a mainstream American university. This one-time loss of accreditation had a profound influence on how DePaul was managed by future leaders in the decades to come. In 1961, Father John T. Richardson, who was then Executive Vice President and Dean of Faculties, created self-studies to examine how DePaul could progress and improve its academic programs and encourage faculty to be scholars as well as teachers. This drive towards mainstream academic recognition meant that the visible Catholic and Vincentian influence at DePaul again became less prominent. The Board of Trustees was also reorganized a couple of times during this period. Governance and management moved away from centralized presidential power and was transferred to the trustees, and the board was empowered to appoint the university president, and they were no longer restricted to having to choose a Vincentian for the job. By the 1970s, many in the Vincentian community were beginning to question what was happening to DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian identity. There were many specific concerns, including the creation of the lay-dominated board to govern the university. Hiring policies for faculty had also changed, meaning that positions were open to a national search, even if there was a qualified Vincentian available. This made it more difficult to recruit Vincentians to faculty positions, and when combined with the declining numbers of Vincentians overall, this meant a less active Vincentian presence at DePaul. These concerns resulted in a variety of initiatives to enhance the Catholic and Vincentian identity. A 1977 self-study report for the NCA included a strong statement about the importance of DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian identity and was pointed about connecting that identity to its urban character. While those three elements, Catholic, Vincentian, urban, had always been a part of the university's identity, this was the first statement that linked them together in a way that emphasized that DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian identity was manifested in its dedication to service to its urban community. In 1986, under the leadership of Father Richardson, who had become president of the university in 1981, the first formal version of the mission of DePaul University was created. It very clearly stated, the principal distinguishing marks of the university are its Catholic, Vincentian, and urban character. The Center for the Study of Values, which today is known as the Division of Mission and Ministry, was also established in 1986 and charged with studying and promoting the Catholic and Vincentian identity of the university. The center also developed annual events and programs like St. Vincent's Week and the Vincentian Heritage Tour to keep awareness of DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian heritage alive and strong. Beginning in the 1990s and continuing to today, DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian identity is perhaps most visibly evident in its urban programs and centers. Some examples include the Egan Office, the Center for Latino Research, or the Theater School's Playworks series. These programs partner with or provide service to the community and involve students and faculty. And while they are many and diverse, they all relate back to Catholic and Vincentian values. In 2020, the Division of Mission and Ministry embarked on a plan to review the university mission statement, which essentially had not changed much since 1986. The review included a Seeds of the Mission campaign and dialogues with the entire campus community, which were opportunities to gather input and increase the DePaul community's knowledge about and ownership of the shared mission. A new mission statement was approved by the Board of Trustees in March 2021, and although it is revised, it maintains that DePaul is at its core Catholic, Vincentian, and anchored in Chicago, dedicated to making education accessible to all with special attention to including underserved and underrepresented communities. This history of DePaul's Catholic and Vincentian identity is documented in the records, papers, photographs, and memorabilia held in DePaul Special Collections and Archives. If you have questions about these collections or about university history, or if you want to share your own memories and perspective on your time at DePaul, please contact us.